$2,100 inflation stimulus checks, and when we talk about global issues, energy prices will always be at the top together with inflation and the price of food. Today we're talking about the possibility of a cold winter. Europe is preparing for winter as they're expecting a much lower supply of energy with the main gas pipeline to Germany being cut. Countries will be unable to meet goals to refill their storage. The news has already prompted some citizens to stock up on loot. There's even instances of customers swapping out their brand new gas heaters for a pellet stove, which in turn has run the pipeline plant to run out of stock to rush to self-sufficiency before the cold winter catches up. Politicians in Europe, they are now saying that the gas supplies could be cut off by winter, which could lead Germany into a recession and would of course lead to higher and higher prices of consumers. If you guys are aware of Nord Stream 1, it has been reported that the flow of oil through it will now be dropped to 20% as a recession is being predicted overseas. Some are saying that the recession has already arrived for the United States. Kevin Hassel, if you remember him, former head of the National Economic Council to the Trump administration, he said this: "We're kind of in a recession, right? So it's a difficult time. In case if I were in the White House, I would not be out there sort of denying it's a recession." End quote. Now, in the most basic sense, 2 consecutive quarters with negative GDP readings could mean that we're basically in an economic downturn. Now, that's the rule of thumb definition, and you can go and Google that. That's what it means. The White House agreeing that this isn't the case. It doesn't matter what the water numbers will show, even if it's worse than the first, we're not going to be in a recession. Believe that if you want. It doesn't matter that the housing market is crashing, or that inflation is still rising, or consumers can't buy as much with the net money. We have the final say, and we say that a recession is not happening. The problem is that investors, economists, and experts are basically telling them that we're already in this trajectory. Why are you suddenly moving the goalposts? A Reddit post may have actually uncovered the truth. According to the White House website, quote, "What is a recession while some maintain a 2 consecutive quarters of falling real GDP constitute a recession that is neither the official definition nor the way economists evaluate the state of business cycle. Instead, both official definitions of recessions and economists' assessment of economic activity are based on a holistic look at the data, including a labor market, consumer and business spending, industrial production, and income based on this data. It is unlikely that the decline in GDP in the first quarter of this year, even if it was followed by another GDP, could decline in the second quarter, indicates a recession," end quote. Some users on the site are saying that the Biden administration may be trying to gaslight the entire nation with this change, while others are arguing that this is actually true. Business Insider's Ben Winnick wrote a piece that said the White House isn't necessarily changing the definition, more so that's going to take more than 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP to run our economy into a recession. But anyway, borrowers have yet to make any payments since March of 2020, and although the idea of forgiving them by at least $10,000 has been talked about, no concrete plan has actually been set forth. It has critics saying that the intent may be to let November pass and then reinstate the loans so long as the White House and the Democrats can gain footing for the midterm elections. So while that's happening, the Republicans also seem to be thinking of ways to gain the upper hand for November, especially when it comes to Americans who are either low or middle income. Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa is set to introduce the Family and Community Inflation Relief Act, which, if passed, may provide up to $2,100 in stimulus check money, like into the child tax credit. Yes, as he hopes to provide up to $2,500 in tax credits for college students. It also aims to adjust the maximum amount of student loan interest that may be deducted in 1 year, which is currently sitting at 2,500 hours. Now, the housing market seems to be in more trouble as the demand for new houses is sinking fast. Economists are now warning of the next few months to be extremely difficult. Ian Shepard's chief economist at Pantone Macro. Yeah, this is a quote. Single-family homes are about 15 to 20% overvalued, so the next few months will be very tough. End quote. Now, will this open up new opportunities to invest in the housing market? Are you looking to invest in real estate? Well, believe it or not, many people are looking into invest in real estate right now, and it could very well be a decent time as long as you could afford it. And of course, depending upon the circumstances and the details of the deal, as long as your credit looks good, you could do a number of things. Create rental properties, and you have your residual income through investment in real estate, which could create passive income for you. You can outright buy and even sell houses via house flipping, and as long as you have the financial freedom, this could be a great way for you to build wealth. But again, invest carefully and look at all your options that you have before spending any of that money. 2024 is still far from here. But the consensus from the University of New Hampshire Survey Center Grand Night poll found that Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg would edge the President Joe Biden for likely 2024 Democratic primary voters. Would you vote for President Biden if it was 2024 today? Well, the results are actually showing that Democrats are not stuck on having President Biden around beyond 2024 and maybe looking for someone younger and the will to lead the Democratic Party. Now, what's worse for the president is that Buttigieg hasn't even made any announcements regarding 2024, while President Biden has repeatedly said that he is most probably running. This isn't the craziest news that we have, though, as the GOP Senate report will show. The report comes from the committee staff of Representative Rob Portman. And according to it, the Chinese government has been trying to obtain sensitive information and infiltrate the Federal Reserve banking system. Now, it also says that since 2013, the country has been targeting the Fed and hopes to recruit US-based economists in hopes of exchanging money for information. Now, you might think that nobody would actually do that, but at least 13 Federal Reserve employees working across 8 of the Fed's 12 locations were deemed to be potential concerns. At least one employee attempted to transfer large volumes of data without seeking approval to an external site after having continuous contact with Chinese nationals and universities. End quote. Now, it's not confirmed whether the transfer was successful, but having an attempt in and of itself is outrageous. Now, I've been on both sides of the fence. Money was very tight growing up, and every little bit made a big difference. Those of you who have been lucky enough to receive state-level stimulus checks are thankful, but those stimulus checks, they're not going to very far. But if you're on a fixed income relying on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or even a low-income salary worker, just forget it. Inflation is eating up those wages faster than you can even get the direct deposit. Now, before we go, please don't get to drop a thumbs up for the video. Also, if you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel for your daily dose of truth. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.